Alright guys, how's it going? It's Bad News Bears. Today I just wanted to talk about a couple things. I feel like there's a lot of news recently that I haven't addressed because either I missed the news or I just didn't really cover it all that much because I've been busy. Whatever, we're gonna cover a bunch of shit right here, right now. Also, I have some thoughts on the game that I would like to share and basically my thoughts on the current state of it and where we go from here. So first off, there's a new option to purchase predecessor on Steam. Previously, you could only buy the rare, epic, and legendary bundle, which gave you early access, all the characters, and a bunch of skins. Part of the issue there is because it's considered DLC, Steam will not refund if you wanted to refund the game. So you're basically trapped into owning the game. Now there is a significantly cheaper option, and it would be refundable because it's just the base game. So it's $8.99 currently American, which is the cheapest option. It comes with the game, which comes with the 10 base heroes. So we now know who the base heroes of the game are, which is Steel, Countess, Kira, Murdoch, Narbash, Greystone, Gideon, Grux, Decker, and Chimera. It does, if you purchase this, because it is so early access, you get an early access skin, which is a yellow steel, which will be up on screen and probably will have been up on screen for a bit. So that's very cool. That's awesome. And you'll also still get the Discord uh, early supporter role or whatever it is on the official Discord. All right. Next up, more news. Wraith is coming. Apparently, Omega leaked it by accident when the new patch went live. I unfortunately didn't catch it, and I don't have any footage or images of it, so there's probably just going to be a picture of Wraith hanging out from Paragon. Wraith is the new ADC. We know that the new champ is an ADC because of the roadmaps, and if Wraith is next, that means Wraith's being reworked into an ADC. Possibly an ADC with stealth. He had stealth in Paragon, so maybe. Who knows? I am not excited. To be blunt, I'm not excited. ADC is not my favorite role, and stealth is questionable. I don't know how you're going to do an ADC with stealth. We'll just have to see. Not excited, though. This was announced on the Predcast, or not Predcast, sorry, but shout out to the Predcast. This was announced on the developer live stream, actually. Along with the Wraith patch, as we now will know it, apparently we're also getting hero masteries. So we were revealed the Drongo skin, which will be on screen now. So at least some reason to play the game is coming in. Hero masteries, it's lit! So as I mentioned about being not very excited for Wraith, something else that is not making me very excited is the recent jungle changes that are now live. So basically, we changed how jungle durability works and camp respawn timers, and the goal was to improve the jungle gameplay loop. Underwhelming, incredibly underwhelming changes. It sure maybe with not having to build or not feeling like you need to build brimstone on Countess anymore. Maybe Shinbi feels a bit more viable. Those could have been done other ways. You could have added additional monster damage to even tide on Countess or the Q on Shinbi. There's other ways we could have done it so that I don't chalk this change to being we've made magical junglers viable. Well, you could have done that in different ways. So it goes beyond that, and what it's supposed to do beyond that, I find incredibly underwhelming. To me, I've played a couple games now. I haven't tested these old off meta junglers that might be viable now, but to current meta junglers, the game feels no different. The core gameplay loop feels exactly the same as a jungler, completely unchanged. Honestly, it feels most different for laners from what I've experienced because I'm much more easily able to take my junglers camps, and they are up much more consistently. So as a laner, I've noticed a difference, but for the jungler, honestly, it's the same rinse and repeat thing. Maybe the enemy the jungle's up more often, so maybe when I successfully gank, it's more likely that there's something up for me to invade and then in turn grief, but it's just not, I think, what they expected out of it. Honestly, if we want to change the core jungle loop, because right now we have an issue. Right now, the beginning of the game as a jungler is almost always the same in a jungle matchup. Unless something happens drastically in lane. Someone's like turbo overpush because they don't know what they're doing. You know, a mid laner or an off laner or an dual lane is like 1 HP. There's some weird situation where you get to gank at level 1 or 2 and it's free low. But even then, a lot of the time, the enemy jungler is just in the same loop that they were going to be in anyway. It's all just like matchup dependent, and you just do the same shit. It's so boring, very predictable. Beginning of the game is very predictable. If you change the spawn timers on the side camps, the gold buff and the cyan camp, junglers will do their thing, right? They'll go to mid, either have a small skirmish, maybe, for the river bugs, or they'll handshake. Mid laners will get one side each, and then junglers usually piss off and continue their rotation. But now, with those timers, oh hey, we just sand shook bugs, let's go gank and get cyan and gold. There's more promotes more active jungle gameplay than I'm Chimera versus Rampage, guess I'll invade his blue buff. Wow, exciting gameplay, because I do it every single game. Hey, if you pick Rampage and I pick Chimera, go to your blue buff, because I'm invading it. Just letting you know. Hey, did you pick Richter and I'm Chimera? I'm invading your blue buff. Just so you know. You pick Richter and I'm Klari, I'm invading your blue buff. You pick Rampage and I'm Crunch, I'm invading your blue buff. Like, did I pick Richter? I'm going buff to buff, probably. Did I pick Richter and you're Chimera? I'm going buff to buff. Like, it's the same shit every game. And we need to spice it up. This game's getting fucking stale. Also, all the jungle minions are exactly the same copied and pasted creature. Let's look at Smite, for example. You know, there used to be, like, mage minions. There's the melee minions. There's the harpies. You know, give us some ranged minions. Give us some minions that deal magical damage. Not the same 20 enemy copy and pasted in, you know, different colors. Riverbugs are the only one that's, like, even remotely exciting because they go down in one hit, for the most part, and are ranged. Everything else is just the same boring crap. Overall, it's super underwhelming. Who cares? It's bad. Did nothing for the game. I don't think anyone actually cares. This game needs a new map, and it needs unique jungle camps. Hey, it's Future Bears. Just a heads up, the part that is coming up, the rest of this video is very ranty. And to defend myself and be like, well, who the hell are you to say this or that about Omega Studios and the development of the game? Who are you to say it should be faster or slower or how matchmaking should work? Basically, it's not like I have zero background in development. I did go to school for it. So I do understand roughly and, you know, how things work. Obviously, I don't know the inner workings of Omega and, like, what's going on over there. And I know not everything is possible, right? But I'm also the consumer. I don't care what's possible or not. If something isn't possible and it's preventing the game from being enjoyable, people won't play the game. That's that. There's no cope for a development team in saying, well, it's impossible. If it's entry level in the industry and you are not capable of meeting it, something is wrong. And as a consumer with as many hours as I do, especially, yeah, I think myself and a lot of other people have it's very fair for us to give input that is as harsh as what is about to be said. There's your warning and my explanation. Carry on at your own will. Keeping on with the game being stale. This is all ad-libbed, by the way. I just have a few talking points, and I'm just rambling because I feel like this needs to be talked about. The development speed. I've gotten to the point, I feel like later than a lot of people, where the game needs to change. It's fucking bedge.
The 2 weeks patches were great. We were pumping out patches like boom, 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 boom. All right, hell yeah, let's get going. I was okay. That was a good pace. 2 weeks was totally fine. And honestly, 4 weeks for a content patch, it's a little up there. It's like, it's okay. It's not great. It's okay. 4 weeks for content patch, that's okay. It's not amazing, but it's okay. Especially given how much isn't in pred. Like, you should be busting out, bust out all the small shit, at least. But, now, we're at a point where every content patch is 6 weeks. A month and a half to get new content into a live service game. A month and a half to get content into a live service game. That's not okay. I've defended Omega long enough. A month and a half to get content into a live service game is so fucking slow. An unfinished live service game. You don't even have the content in the game to keep people interested long enough to wait a month and a half for content in a live service game. It's just not sustainable in my opinion. I am bored. I'm playing fucking CS2. I went back to Counter-Strike because I'm bored. Bro, I can't keep supporting predecessor if I'm fucking bored. I am someone who is like, yeah, I can play a game to play a game. I have 1,000. Let me check. Hold on. I'll put up an image of this too. I have 1,680 hours. 1,680.9 hours in pred. Bro, I'm fucking bored. A month and a half. Right. And balance patches also get delayed. Why are we also delaying balance patches? Surely at least we could get those at a consistent schedule. Like, I feel like we just pushing back balance patches so it's in sync with the content patches so we have this consistent pattern. But it's just kind of ridiculous, right? So we have to play shit patch after shit patch for 3 weeks at a time? Come on. That's ridiculous. What? Smite patches bi-weekly, right? Or weekly? They do... Yeah, it's bi-week. It's weekly. Because they do a main patch, and then they do a sub patch the next week. Maybe that's changed now, but that's when I was playing, so season 7 and 8. They were doing that? This is when they started doing that? Awesome. Great. And then we got the content patch like once every month. Cool. With the new god. Or whatever. The new modes. Pred's just so slow. And like we slowed down for, I assume, console. If we have to slow down for console, maybe we shouldn't have been pushing the game on the console yet. Maybe we should have just shut our mouths and not pushed the game to console yet for early access. Or hire more people. I don't know. Like, I'm obviously not working for Omega. I don't know the inner workings of what's going on over there. But what I do know is too fucking slow. The last thing I want to talk about and fucking vent about is the dog shit matchmaking system. Which... Again, going back to months and months and months ago, where I was defending Omega, being like, oh, it's because small player base, you're gonna get shitty games, or, oh, like, they're working on the matchmaking, so, like, just chill. So what? However many months ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, we got the new matchmaking system? We got the new matchmaking system, right? The upgraded matchmaking system. We got the fucking graphs. Maybe I'll show it. I gotta find it. I don't have this pre-pulled up. But we got like graphs and shit, and I think it was Jay Shreds from the dev team or mod team. Dev team, right? Hold up. Let me get his credentials right. Okay, yeah, he is Omega staff. So he posted that whole like community forum thing talking about like the matchmaking changes. I cannot be alone in my thought that matchmaking got worse since we updated the matchmaking system. Obviously, I don't know the inner workings of the matchmaking system, but I cannot be the only person who thinks it got worse.
So myself and other content creators in the community have directly given feedback on matchmaking to J Shreds and dev team in general. And every time it's, oh, small player base, you know, like we're working on it, and then don't look at Omega City because the MMR is inflated, like X, this, that, and the other. Like, I'm not going to go into detail. Basically, what I'm trying to get is they reassure us that the matchmaking is being worked on and that it's not as bad as it appears. And basically, what it seems like we're being told every time we report something is they're not actually bronze. Wake up is how it feels. And I've discussed that with them, and they're like, oh, well, that's not how it's intended. And if it feels that way, obviously it's shit. But, like, at the end of the day, it feels like talking about the matchmaking system does nothing. It's shit. Future Bears here again. So, listening back to the rant that I am currently in the middle of and I am now interrupting, some of what I said was not presented in the correct way. Not because I said anything, like, horrendous, but because there was just, like, some blatantly false things. So, while I stand true to it seems like talking about matchmaking does nothing and we get the same kinda response most of the time, which is like, you know, they're not as bad as you think they are, or you're not as good as you think you are in our eternal matchmaking system. There is an update we got recently. This pertains mostly towards stacking, which is a larger issue within the flawed matchmaking system itself. They are still working on a custom matchmaking solution. The one they are using is like a rebuilt one, and they've built off of it, I suppose, is what's going on. But there's no ETA, so it's still in development. They don't want to put out something that doesn't work and have matchmaking break entirely, which understandable. They're still working to improve the current matchmaking system that is in place. And Party MMR in of itself is pretty flawed. Basically, what I'm getting at is that they're aware the matchmaking system is shit. Though I think there is a lot of cope behind how shit they claim it is. Which that's its own thing. It is what it is. But the fact of the matter is, it's just another example of things being too goddamn slow. And now we're coming up on console release. If there's no ETA on this new matchmaking system, we must have an ETA on console because we've said it's coming this season, which means we're going to launch on console with this dog shit matchmaking system that is completely and wildly unacceptable with how bad it is, as you will see further on in this video. Future Bears out. Whether Omega wants to admit that it's shit or not, the matchmaking is shit. Let me pull up a game from Omega City. If I can find it. I found it. So I'm going to pull this up here. Like, let's just look at this. And no, I'm not going to fucking blur names either. So this is a game I'm in. Obviously, I'm the 8-3 countess. Look at the people on my team. Bro, I had... Like, you can argue this is balanced matchmaking, because that's one of the things they'll say, right? They'll be like, well, it was balanced. Like, your odds to win were roughly equal. Bro, I don't care if my odds to win are fucking equal. I have 1,600 hours in the fucking game. I'm not dog shit. I'm not the best. I sure as hell ain't dog shit. Why are you putting me with someone? Let's click on this fucking Zara Stale Fries, who has a 35.1% win rate. Bro, on Omega City, and I know it's not accurate, but like, there's a degree of accuracy. Bro, there's not a fucking massive margin of error. 43,000 rank. Bro, I'm right now lower than I should be, but like
340. Come on, man. Top 1%. Like, that's gotta be relevant, right? I don't want to play with people that don't know how to play the game. Like, there's a difference between being shit at the game and not knowing how to play the game. Bro, these people aren't shit. They just don't know how to play the game. My phase in this match didn't know you could buy components. Why am I playing with people that don't know you can buy components? How do I have 2 people in the bottom fucking 99% of players? Like, come on. Or in the bottom. In the top 99%. How are they in the last percent of player on Omega City and in my game? That's not justifiable. That's dog shit matchmaking. Nobody wants to play that. They don't want to play in that game. I don't want to play in that game. Nobody wants to fucking play it. You can cope, and this is at Omega. You guys can cope all you want. Your matchmaking's dog shit. It needs to be fixed. I'm not gonna continue playing this game until it stops being shit. I can't defend it anymore. It was okay when there was visible change happening in the game. But now you've slowed development. Matchmaking has gone untouched and unaddressed for how long? And I just can't be asked anymore. The game isn't fun anymore. So what that means is I am very rarely going to be playing Predecessor anymore. I'll probably get the urge every once in a while. I have backlogged content, which I will make in post. I will cover patches and news. But for the foreseeable future, I am not playing Predecessor anymore. Omega, you're fucking sucking. And I hope you turn it around and make this game not so bad. That's all for me. Bears out. Peace.